Hello, traders. FX Speculator here. So today is Wednesday, so happy hump day, and it is March 25th. So how is everybody doing today? Everybody surviving all the volatility that we've been getting this week? Definitely a lot of volatility on the sort of time frames. I always kind of have to laugh a little bit about, sort of time frame volatility because the sort of time frames have been making some really big unexpected moves this week. But this is the daily time frame, and the last 2 weeks have basically been nothing. So it's all perspective, On the 1 hour time frame and below, it looks like some really big giant moves. But on the daily time frame, it looks like pretty much nothing has happened for about almost 2 trading weeks now. So, these big giant moves on the sort of time frames really don't really change a whole lot on the higher time frames. So that's why I always think it's kind of funny, the perspective between sort of time frames, because you go down to the 1 hour time frame and there's these big moves and there's up and down and all around. Like right in the middle of the afternoon when you don't expect it, you get a big old giant push. And then you go down to the sort of the longer time frame, and it's just like nothing. It's up, down, up, down. I mean, it's just normal price action. So it's all relative to what time frame you're on, definitely. Now, a lot of this volatility has obviously been caused by what's going on Iran. I don't really want to talk much about that. YouTube definitely doesn't really like talking about this stuff. It's a good way to get demonetized. So I mean, we all know what's causing the volatility right now, and it's definitely this which is causing the volatility. A good way to keep up on this is Financial Juice. If you download Financial Juice onto your cell phone and then set up alerts, you can potentially get alerts when things come out. Forex Factory does have up to date stories, but I think Financial Juice is a little bit better with getting stuff out quickly. Uh, Yeah, definitely. So, the main purpose of these live streams that I do every Wednesday, last week was FOMC interest rate news. So during Wednesdays when it's FOMC interest rate news, I do the live stream during the interest rate news. But every other live stream that I do on Wednesday, yeah, the primary goal is to take analysis requests. So I can basically look at anything that anybody wants me to look at. It doesn't have to just be forex pairs. I can look at, indices. I can look at cryptocurrency, stock market, pretty much anything you want. But anyways, yeah, I always do like to start off on the dollar index. And I during these live streams, I like to do more of a full top-down analysis because these live streams we have a little bit more time to actually evaluate these things. So I am very confident in this higher time frame analysis. I mean, to me, this is very clearly. Let me change that to yellow. This is very, very, very clearly one, two, three waves up for three waves up. This is very clearly one, two, three waves down for another three waves down. So we have a 3-3 pattern going on here. So if we have three waves up and three waves down, that means there's really only two things that can happen. It's either going to make one, two, three waves up for a triple three pattern, which a triple three pattern is a WXY, or it's going to make 3-3-5 waves, which is a flat. I'm always leaning towards flats just because I think that those are more common. There's two kinds of flats. They have the running flat, which is 100% right here is my target for a running flat. A running flat basically just means that you get a lower low and then a lower low. So the wave B is a lower low and the wave C is a lower low. So a lower low for the wave B and a lower high for the wave C, and then it just ends up continuing the downtrend. I was kind of hoping to see an expanding flat, and the higher target up here is the expanding flat target. And I also think that lines up really well with this little drop-based drop zone that we got over here. So I still think there's a pretty good chance that we could get the expanding flat, but we'll definitely see. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, or go down to a little bit of a sort of time frame, we can see that this is one, two, three waves. There's still not really any proof that the third wave is complete yet either. I mean, this is definitely a wave one, wave two, this is definitely a wave three. I mean, there's no reason to say that this wave three may not just continue. I mean, it could do this, and then this, and then this, and then that would be your expanding flat. So we do not have a break of structure on the sort of time phase telling us that we have the end of a wave three. If we go down to the daily time frame, this is what I've been mentioning in my videos. This is a wave one, this is a wave two. Then we have what to me looks very clearly to be a wave one, two, three, four, five of three. So it looks like we have five waves of three. And normally, when you see five waves, you automatically assume that that's going to be the end of a trend. But one thing my old mentor used to always say to us is just because you see five waves doesn't mean that the trend is over. Trends can make wave six, wave seven, wave eight, wave nine, 11, 12. They could go up as many waves as they want. Yeah, the thing that tells you that a trend is over is the break of structure. So this is the break of structure on the daily time frame that would confirm that the wave three is over. Now, another thing too is if this really is already in a wave four, which I mean, it definitely kind of looks like it could be, then most wave fours do at least go down and retest or break the structure of the wave three, which is right here. That is why I've been saying all week long that it still kind of seems to me like we could get another push down because most wave fours do break the structure of the wave three before they actually go up and make a wave five. So that's why I've been saying all week long that potentially we're going to get another push down. But the thing is if we're still in a wave three and this wave three is not over, it could literally just be simple structure analysis: higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and it might just keep on making these higher highs, higher lows on the higher time frames. So we don't really know, do we? As we go down to the shorter time frames, like I was starting off the live stream, there's a lot of volatility on these shorter time frames. We've been getting some really big moves, and a lot of these moves have been a little bit unexpected, because they just come out in the middle of the afternoon at an unscheduled time. Most of the time because Trump tweeted something, or something's going on with that Iran situation that's been going on. Like I said, I don't really want to mention too much about that because that is a really good way to get demonetized on YouTube is to talk about that. But pretty obvious what's been moving the markets lately. The scheduled news is not really what's moving the market that much right now. It's what's going on right here, which is moving the markets right now. So, anyways, overall, I'm definitely still very bullish the dollar, but on a shorter term basis, I still feel like there's a chance the dollar could go down one more time. I'm just not really sure because when you start getting these overlapping patterns, it starts to get a little hard to read because obviously we have like obviously this is some sort of a correction, but what kind of a correction is it? Is it a triangle? Is it a contracting? Is it expanding? Is it a barrier triangle? Is it a flat? Is it a running flat? Is it an expanding flat? Is it a regular flat? Is it going to be a WXY? Is it going to be a WXYXZ? I mean, there's so many different options. That's the problem. I was thinking that maybe this is, even though this move down kind of looks like a trend, I was thinking that maybe this was a W and then this was an X, and that this was a one down, one up, and then one more down for wave Y. And this wave Y potentially would go down and test this low before it goes up and makes the wave 5. So this is what I was thinking was going to happen. I was thinking that the dollar was going to get one more push down to finish off this wave four, because like I said, most wave fours do take out the structure of the wave three, and the structure of the wave three is right here, right? This is a pullback within the wave three. So if the wave four takes out the structure of wave three, then it should go down and take out this low before it potentially goes up and makes a wave five. So that's why I've been saying all week long that I still think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to get a push down on the dollar pairs. And to me, this is impulsive down. And to me, this still looks, even though it's pretty impulsive today, it still looks pretty corrective. It's very, very overlapping. Makes me really think that this is a wave B of a wave Y of a WXY pattern. So if this really does go down, then the euro dollar would potentially make a move up, the pound dollar up, the Aussie dollar up, the Kiwi dollar up, dollar CAD potentially would go down, dollar Swiss would potentially go down also. You can't really use gold, the dollar index so much with gold because gold kind of does what gold wants to do, and obviously gold moves dramatically based on what's going on with the WAR. So based on what's going on with that, gold definitely can move pretty dramatically just because of that. If the conflict is getting worse, then that's kind of bullish for gold. If the conflict is getting better, then that's kind of bearish for gold. I think gold has fine, which we'll look at gold because somebody has already requested gold, I think. Yeah, Alex already requested gold. So we'll look at gold in a few minutes here, but I think gold this week finally proved that the wave three is over on the weekly monthly time frame, which means that we are in a wave four, which I'll explain more when we look at gold, which gold might be the first request anyways. So let's see. Alex, I think, is the first one to request. Yeah, gold. So So, anyways, like I said, if the dollar does push down, then you would have to take that information and apply it to the dollar pairs themselves. But like I said, gold doesn't really follow the dollar quite as much as the other pairs do. So, gold has been in a wave three for about 4 years now. About 3 or 4 years, right? 20. This wave three started in November 2022, and we may have just confirmed this week that the wave three is over. So it's about 3.5 years that gold has been in a wave three. So this is a wave one, this is a wave two, this is a wave three. We need to make a wave four, and this wave four likely is going to be around the same size as this wave two. This is a very, very important concept right here. I was explaining this in my Zoom meeting that I had yesterday for my premium members. If anybody's interested in that, definitely check out my website. But you have to really take into consideration these higher time frame perspectives because a wave four should last about the same time, not the same price, but the same time as a wave two. How long did this wave two last? I think it was roughly 500 days. I personally don't trade gold, so actually this wave two lasted almost 700 days. So this wave two lasted about 1 year and 3/4, almost 2 years. So it would be very, very relevant for us to think that if we really are in this wave four, then we're likely to make a pattern similar to this. And this pattern is likely going to last up to 1 year and 3/4. So that's a very important concept, right? Because if you go down to the sort of time phase and you start thinking that gold is continuing the uptrend, then you're probably wrong because the perspective is that gold is likely going to be in an overlapping pattern for the better part of 2 years from this top right here. This top right here was January 25th. So probably close to 2 years from January 25th is when we'll have the end of a wave four. Probably, let's see, 26, 27. Maybe towards the end of 2027, we'll get the end of a wave forward, and then we'll get another push up for a wave five to back up to all-time highs. But even though gold did reject structure, it definitely did break structure this week. I think that may finally confirm that the wave three is over and that we really are in that big giant wave four. Another really important concept to understand about gold is that this is a very traditional ABC right here. This is one down, this is three up, this is one down. That is a very traditional ABC pullback right there. The alternating wave theory, the Elliott wave alternating wave theory says that if a wave two is a very traditional pattern like an ABC, then the wave four is likely going to be a more complex pattern like a triangle or a flat. So basically, what that means is that we're probably either going to get like an expanding or a contracting triangle, which will probably last probably close to 2 years from the top. So if you're talking about the weekly time frame, it would not be unrealistic for this thing to look something like this before it actually goes up, making some sort of an A, B, C, D, E pattern, or maybe a W, X, Y, X, Z pattern, or a flat pattern, or something along those lines. It looks like it's already starting to play out in three-way patterns, right? If we go to the daily time frame, it looks like we are already starting to play out in three waves. So, and my guess is what's going to happen with gold over the next year and a half is we're going to make an A, B, C, D, E pattern because an A, B, C, D, E pattern quite often is ABC of A, ABC of B, ABC of C, ABC of D, and then ABC of E. And we're talking about the daily time frame too. So, this is going to take months and months and months and months to play out. It's going to take a very, 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 very long time to play out. So, anyways, on a more sort of term perspective, I spend a lot of time analyzing the higher time frames because for me, my Elliott wave analysis is really only on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. On anything shorter than that, I don't really do that much Elliott wave analysis because I know that anything I see on the 1 hour time frame is just a subdivision of what I see on the daily. So if I can get a correct Elliott wave count on the daily, then I know that anything I see on the 1 hour time frame is just a subdivision of what I see on the daily time frame. So, in my opinion, trying to count every single wave is a losing battle on the shorter time frames. Figure out what the higher time frame analysis tells you the main direction is, and then go down to the shorter time frames and realize that anything you see on the 1 hour is just a subdivision of what you see on the daily. It makes life a lot easier, in my opinion. So on the daily, it's very clear that this is a wave one, this is a wave two. It's very clear that the wave three is over, especially now with this engulfing move up at the 261% Fibonacci extension. And that means that we are likely in a wave four, which now that we have the engulfing up, I think I could definitely get rid of this. And I could put a Fibonacci retracement on the whole wave three. A wave four is a pullback to the wave three. Normally, a wave four pullback isn't really going to go much more than 50%. I don't think that this is going to go any higher than 50%. It's probably going to do something like this, maybe hit the 50%, and then eventually go down for a wave five. So this is what I was talking about in my group yesterday. This is a wave one, this is a wave two. This wave two lasted about 5 trading days. So it would be very, very realistic for us to determine that this wave four will also last about 5 trading days. So far we are on day number 2. So maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe Monday, or either Friday or Monday is when we're probably going to end this wave four and go down for wave five. So on the 1 hour time frame, if you're looking at that thinking, man, this thing's ready to go back down, you're very likely wrong because this wave two is telling us that this wave four is probably not going to end until at least Friday or maybe Monday next week. So, that's like I said, that's where these perspectives between the different time frames are very important. Because you could go down to the 1 hour time frame and you could say to yourself pretty easily that this is an A and there's a B here, and this is a C, and that it's going to break structure, and that's going to end the way forward and go down. If I was analyzing the 1 hour time frame, this is what I would say. But I know that this is incorrect. How do I know that this is incorrect? Because this wave four needs to last roughly about 5 trading days, and we're only on day number 2 now, maybe day number 3 tops. Technically, it turned Monday, so that's why I say maybe Friday or maybe Monday next week will be when the real turn actually happens. So what does that mean? That means that this first person up is probably an A. I personally think that we're still in a wave B. I think that we had 1, 2, 3 waves down for the A, which I like to change colors when I do this. So the A of B. We're likely now in a 1, 2, 3 waves up for a C of B. Oops. So AB. I'm sorry, AB. I think what's going to happen is gold's probably going to retest the 78%, go down, break structure, and then it's going to go down, take out these lows, and that's going to be the C of B. And then I think gold is going to make another uptrend, which will go up and take out this high, which lines up pretty good with the 50%, and that's going to be your C. So there's your A, there's your B, there's your C, and that's an ABC of 4. This line right here I put on my charts yesterday because this is when I forecast that we're likely to end a wave 4 and we're likely to go down again to make a wave 5. And like I said, if you didn't spend a lot of your time analyzing the higher time frames like the daily and up, then you would never know this. You would probably be looking at this and thinking, man, this thing's ready to go down and make new lows. But because we know about multiple time frames and how things subdivide onto multiple time frames, we can look at things and say pretty easily that this is not going to end today. It's probably not going to end tomorrow. It could possibly end on Friday, or it could possibly end on Monday. Right now, the market is definitely telling us to look for longs, though, isn't it? Definitely telling us to look for longs. So anyways, like I said, the main purpose of these live streams is to take requests. So if you have something you want me to look at, definitely put it in the chats. I got gold, which we just finished. I'm going to look at the Aussie dollar for Skywick. Hey, Skywick, how's it doing, buddy? How's it going? Nice to see you. Alex, nice to see you. And Jay, how's it going? Yeah, we'll look at Bitcoin after the Aussie dollar. I went long the Aussie dollar. I'm already long on the Aussie dollar. I'm hoping it goes up. Mostly because of my US dollar analysis. It's looking like it wants to go up, but we'll see. Awesome. Good. Nice. I'm glad to hear. Aussie dollar did break structure, but so far it's rejecting structure. It looks like it's, excuse me, it looks like it's making like an overlapping trend. And this overlapping trend is either an A or a 1. I think we're in a wave 4 right now in the sort of time frames is what I think is going on. I thought this was a wave 1 and this was a wave 2 and this was a wave 3 and I thought we were going to bounce up one more time and this was like an ending diagonal wave A or leading diagonal, I'm sorry, a leading diagonal wave A or a leading diagonal wave 1. It doesn't matter whether it's an A or 1 because you would trade it exactly the same either scenario, but I mean, it really looks like a leading diagonal wave A or a leading diagonal wave 1. Like I said, I went long on the Aussie dollar a little while ago. I actually went long back here, so I'm actually pretty much back at, not quite back at break even. So this move up right here is what really makes me think that the dollar pairs are going to go up again because we definitely have a break of structure. And then we had this very corrective looking pattern to the downside. I was thinking that this was already made an ABC correction. When I enter a trade like this, I don't put my stop loss right at the bottom of these swings. I put my stop loss where I know I'm incorrect. So if I entered long up here, I don't know that I'm wrong if it goes down and takes out this low. I know that I'm wrong if it takes out this low. So my stop loss always goes where I know I'm wrong. Sometimes that requires a 100 pip stop loss on, especially on something like I don't trade gold, but maybe the yen pairs or like the Yo Aussie Pound Aussie or something like that. Sometimes it requires to use a pretty big stop loss. I think this is a wave A. I think this is a wave B. I'm hoping that this goes up. Maybe it goes down and grabs this low before it goes up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it did a little bit of a liquidity grab before it went up, grab that low. But I was thinking that this was going to go all the way back up to these highs to make a wave C, and this was going to be an A, this was going to be a B, and it was going to be a wave C. So that's kind of what I'm hoping happens on the Aussie dollar. Like I said, I'm already long on the Aussie dollar, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's just a random distributions of wins and losses, anyways. But it still looks very corrective to me. That's why I'm kind of holding on, thinking that it might be okay. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. Yeah, kind of looks like some sort of a WXY. Oh, excuse me. One, two, three ways down. One, two, three ways up. Maybe this is one, two, three ways down for wave Y. I try not to do too much Elliott wave analysis on these sort of time frames, but definitely looks like it's some sort of a 333 pattern or a 335 pattern or something like that. Hopefully it goes up. It started off the week really well, so hopefully today turns out really well too. It could be a very profitable week if some of these trades work out. I had a couple really good trades yesterday. One on the Dow Jones, and yesterday I went long the Aussie dollar also. But yesterday I just wrote it from here to here. It wasn't a big trade, but definitely a pretty profitable trade. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets right now, isn't there? I mean, look at the daily time frame on everything. You can just tell that the markets are really uncertain right now, especially on like something like the dollar industry. Awesome. Good. Like I said, I personally don't trade gold because I'm from the United States, and you can't trade gold from the United States unless you have a foreign broker or you trade with a prop firm, which I do have a prop firm account, but I trade my own money. I don't trade prop firm money. I have a one prop firm account that I use for scalping, but I really don't like to scalp, so I pretty much never even trade that account. I trade my own personal money. I've always traded my own personal money. I'm not really a big fan of prop firms. I think they're kind of a scam. But I also think that if you're a really good trader, it's a really good way to make a lot of money. The problem is most people don't make a lot of money. Most people lose a lot of money. The amount of money that people lose trading those prop firm accounts, they could literally just put that into a brokerage account and trade their own money and probably do a lot better because then they wouldn't have all these stupid rules about not holding trades and not trading around the news and not doing this and all these stupid rules that some of these prop firm accounts have that are purposely designed to make you fail. Like I said, I do have one prop firm account, but I don't trade it very often because I'm not a scalper and I really don't prefer scalping. Anyways, let's move on. Let's check out Bitcoin for Jay. I haven't looked at the pretty much the only time I look at whoops, that's commodities. Pretty much the only time I look at crypto is when I somebody asks me in these live streams. First thing I need to do is go to the higher time frames. Yeah, not much has changed since last time I looked at it. I still think that we might have one more push down on this. I think we need to go down and hit this 61% Fibonacci retracement. Hey, Andrew, yeah, I'll definitely check out the pound dollar for sure. I still think we need to have one more push down on this. I'm wondering if this is like some sort of an expanding flat. So once it does push down, and if it breaks up, it could just continue the uptrend. Or it could be just a wave A and then it makes a wave B and then it makes a wave C, which is what I originally thought. But some of the other people in my group were showing me some analysis on some of these other cryptos that made it look like maybe, within the next few weeks or a few months, we could get a big push up on some of these. Yeah, I was definitely thinking that this move up was another pullback. I was thinking that we were going to have one more push down. I really think that this 58,000 area is going to get hit because that's where the 61% Fibonacci retracement from the weekly time frame is. So I think there's a very good chance we're going to go down, hit this area, then we'll probably go up, then we'll probably break structure, and then whether or not this is an A, and then a wave B comes next, or whether this is like an expanding, like I showed on the higher time phase, and it just goes up and makes new highs, is the question. Hey Salman, how's it going, buddy? Nice to see you. If you have any requests, definitely put them in the chats. I'll be more than happy to look at anything. So overall, very bullish still. Uh, yeah, that's a very overlapping pattern, huh? Boy, kind of looks like it already ended the correction, doesn't it? Kind of looks like it might already have made an ABC or WXY or something. Definitely broke structure to the downside at a fib level. I bet there's a good chance we're already going down. I think it's going to now make 5 waves down for the potentially a wave 5. I think Bitcoin's going down to 58,000. And then after that, who knows? Maybe it'll go all the way back up and make new highs. Maybe 150, 200,000 for all I know. Yeah, wow, that does look like a correction right there. One, two, three, four, 5 waves down. And we got the break right there. That really looks like it's going to go back down to me. I think there's a very good likelihood that this is going to go down to 58,000, maybe even beyond. So yeah, let's switch it back. I would definitely be looking at this, especially if it breaks structure to the downside, as possibly a sorting opportunity. Let's see, what's next here? What do we got next? Uh, pound dollar? Yeah, we kind of already looked at gold, but if nobody else has requests, we can look at it again. Pound dollar. Oh man, that pound dollar looks so corrective. All the dollar pairs look like they haven't finished their move to the upside. I really feel like the pound dollar is going to make one more push up to break structure. Then I think it's going to go down and take out this low. I think the someplace over here there's a 1, 2, and this is a 3, and this is a 4, and this is a 5. Yes, it is a little overlapping, but if it really is a wave A, then I don't care if it's overlapping. That doesn't really bother me at all. A lot of people get stuck on the so-called Elliott wave rules. Yeah, man, it really does look like it wants to go up one more time to me. I mean, I've seen situations like this where it looks very corrective, and you're like, oh, that's going to go up again. But then it just keeps on going down and down and then down and down, even though it's overlapping. I mean, there is a possibility that that's what happens, but every single one of the dollar pairs look very overlapping. And the 1 hour time phase structure is definitely up. We have a bigger structure way over here, and then we have a higher low, we have a higher low, we got this very sideways price action. Hey, yeah, definitely. I can look at the Dow Jones and the pound yen. I just started trading the Dow Jones again. I used to trade it a while back, but I just started trading it again. This is the list of pairs right here that I trade. I personally don't trade gold. Once in a blue moon, I might enter a trade on it, but I personally don't really trade gold. I just analyze it a lot because other people love it. But I trade the Dow Jones and I also trade the FTSE, the UK 100. And then I trade yen pairs, dollar pairs, the Yo Aussie and Pound Aussie. Once in a while, I went to trade on gold, but definitely not very often. And it's all because I'm an American. Everybody's like, "Oh, why don't you trade gold?" I don't trade gold is because I started trading in 2009 when I lived in America, and I traded for literally over 10 years without the option to be able to trade gold because as an American, you cannot trade gold on a margin broker account. You can trade gold on a futures account, you can trade gold with no leverage, but you cannot trade gold on a leveraged margin trading account, which is why I never traded gold. And when you spend 10, 12 years trading profitably without gold, and then all of a sudden you move to Europe and then you can trade gold, you say to yourself, does it really matter? I spent 12 years not trading gold, so why do I need to trade gold now? That's kind of the way I look at it. I honestly think gold is one of the harder pairs to trade sometimes also. I think that there's only two kind of traders on gold. There's either the people trading the super, super short time frames, like the 1 minute or even 15-second time frames, or you got people investing in gold with who people who buy and hold forever. 1 hour time frame, I mean, this looks extremely corrective, but how would I count it? I don't know. I don't know how to count that. There probably is a count in there somewhere. There's probably some sort of a WXY or something in there somewhere. One, two, three ways down W, one, two, three ways up X, one, two, three ways down Y. That's probably how I would count it. 333 pattern. I'm definitely looking at this move as a pullback to the move up. Is it gonna end here? Is it gonna go down to here? Could it even go down to 78%? I mean, it might go down to 61% before it goes up. It could turn at this 50% that we're sitting at now. I don't know. Trying to identify the exact point that a pullback is over is a very difficult thing, which is why I normally, if I was to enter long right now on this, I would put my stop loss where I know I'm wrong. If I put my stop loss here and it goes down and stops me out, that doesn't tell me that this is not a correction, does it? You have to put your stop loss where you know you're wrong, in my opinion. If you enter here, you know you're wrong if it goes out and takes out this structure. So where does your stop loss go? It goes below structure. Yes, this is probably like 100 pips right there, but then you don't have to be concerned. This thing could literally do any kind of a correction it wants. It could do an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K correction and then continue the uptrend for all I care. As long as it really is a correction, it's going to be a profitable trade in the long run if you put your stop loss where you know you're wrong. So I think, that's another thing I was talking about yesterday in the group is I think the risk to reward ratio causes people to use really tight stop losses. And because you're using such tight stop losses, you end up getting stopped out of trades that you are correct about. This is a really good example on the euro dollar. I mean, you could have gone long here and then it went down. If you put your stop loss there, you would have got stopped out. And then later on, it would have gone up in your favor and it would have been a profitable trade. If you had your stop loss below the low where you knew you were wrong, then you don't really care what kind of correction it makes. As long as it's a correction, as long as it's a pullback, it doesn't really matter to you what kind of pullback it is. A pullback is a pullback. The problem is trying to figure out the count on a 1 hour time frame pullback is a difficult thing to do. No matter how good you are at Elliott Wave, even in hindsight, a lot of these pullbacks, it's hard to label. I mean, obviously this is a pullback right here, but what kind of a correction is it? Is it just a traditional ABC? I mean, I guess. It's not a very pretty ABC if that's what it is. Anyways, yeah, we already looked at gold, but we can circle back to gold if we have time. Let's continue to look at things we haven't looked at. The Dow Jones. I went long on this. Was it the UK? I forget. Yesterday I was long. Yeah, yesterday I was long on this one from down here. I got out up here before the market closed, but definitely a good trade. Ah man, I was really thinking that the wave A or I was thinking that the wave A or the wave one was already complete. That's definitely what I was thinking. Because we obviously have a breaker structure, right? And then we have this like running ABC right here, and then we have a contracting ABC right here. So that points out where the wave two and the wave four is. So there's your one, two, there's your wave three, there's your running wave four, and now this is the wave five. I was thinking that this was potentially going to keep going up and make a wave B now. I was thinking that the first push down was at A, and now we're going to go up and grab these structures for wave B, and then eventually go down for wave C. So overall, I'm bullish. And on the shorter time phase, it's telling me to be bullish too, right? Because we get this big break of structure right here. From that point forward, you should be looking for longs. I would like to see proper pullbacks in order to go long, but I mean, I definitely am looking for longs right now for sure. Even the stock market looks like it's in such indecision right now. Usually this thing isn't so overlapping. That's one of the reasons why I started trading this is because most of the time it makes some sort of a move almost every day. But boy, today and yesterday, you can just look at this and see that the market doesn't really know what to think about what's going on right now. I don't think anybody really knows what to think. Anyways, yeah, so overall, I'm definitely still very bullish. I was honestly looking at this as possibly going down one more time. And honestly, if it does go down one more time, it would make for a much better opportunity to go long because that would be your wave A, B, and C, and then potentially you would go long for the continuation of the uptrend. So it would make a lot of sense for this to potentially go up again, I think. But it would be nice if it went down before it went up. Even the yen pairs are a little overlapping right now. That's why you just gotta get what you can get, I guess. Get in, get out, move on. Get some pips and collect your pips and then move on. Yeah, let's look at the pound yen. Pound yen is another pair that I'm quite fond of. I like the pound yen. I used to trade the euro dollar and the pound yen almost exclusively. That's pretty much the only pairs that I would trade often. And the most important thing is the higher time frames. So what do we have on the higher time frames? We got this big impulsive down and we got several breaks of structure on the higher time frames. And the move down is definitely impulsive, and then we got a break to the upside. So we know this move down is over. This is either an A or a 1. Now we are very likely in a pullback to the move down. So most likely this is going to make a lower high. If you watch my videos, then eventually I was thinking that this was the end of a pullback right here, but obviously it wasn't. But I definitely don't think that that changes the fact that this move up right here is likely a pullback to the move down. So I think we're either in a wave B or we're in a wave 2 right now. Until we get a good engulfing down on the daily, or preferably a break of structure on the daily, you can't really say yet that it's over. Is there any kind of a pattern in here? Hmm. 1, 2, 3 up. Yeah, not really much of a recognizable pattern, is it? Obviously, it's very overlapping, which gives you even more confidence that it's probably a correction. And then this move down is definitely 5 waves, so that gives you even more confidence also. Maybe it's not finished going up. Maybe it'll go up and grab these highs right here. I mean, the market is definitely still telling us to look for longs for sure. I definitely think we need to continue to look for longs every single chance we get. Maybe on like the 30-minute time frame, you could just ride these little waves. Get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, out. And then once in a while, you can catch a big one. In, out. These are the trades I'd be looking for. All these little pullback entries. Anytime you see a move to the downside, I would be looking at that as possibly a pullback within an uptrend, especially with those three waves up right there. This is probably already a wave C. Maybe it's just going to go down, grab some liquidity from some of these lows, and then turn back up. Especially looking at the higher time frame, that probably is exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion. So definitely still looking for logs for sure. Yeah, it is very, very toppy on these sort of time frames. Really, the whole market has been pretty toppy the last couple of weeks. Really, I mean, the whole Trump administration is pretty toppy, in my opinion. Pretty much ever since Trump became president, the market has been pretty toppy. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of trends here and there on the sort of time phase, but even on the really high time phase, you can pretty much look at a chart and see where Trump got elected because that's when the market started getting pretty choppy. So, does anybody else have any more requests? I can circle back and look at gold again, but we already did look at it. So, if anybody else has any other pairs they would like me to look at, definitely put them in the chats. Be more than happy to look at anything. I try to stay on these live streams for at least an hour, but on Tuesday I do a 90-minute live stream for only my members, and on Friday I do a 2-hour live stream for my members. If anybody is ever interested in checking out my website, it is fxpipcollector.com. It is a very, very cheap membership. It is only $30 per month. Oops, didn't even have it pulled up. So fxpipcollector.com if anybody's interested. You are more than welcome to follow along with my trades if you want to, but that's definitely not the main purpose of my group. That's why I like to call it learn and earn because hopefully you can learn how to trade your own style while you earn by following along with my trades because I do share every single trade I take with the group at the time of entry. Not all my trades are swing trades, especially nowadays. Most of my trades are actually day trades nowadays. I've been finding it quite difficult ever since Trump became president to swing trade because these choppy markets, like if you were trying to swing trade, like you'd be really in a lot of profit, back to break even. Lots of profit, back to break even. Lots of profit, back to break even. So swing trading is very frustrating when the markets are choppy. You're better off just being like, okay, get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out. Get in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Get in, get out, move on. The thing is if you have a full-time job, then I think swing trading is the only option. And definitely, swing trading is much easier if you have a full-time job. In my opinion, getting in a trade here and then holding on to it for a whole week is very easy when you have a full-time job. When you don't have a full-time job and you're available and you're here to watch all this nonsense on the sort of time frames, that's when it becomes very difficult because you see all these intraday volatilities moves that make it hard to hold on to trades. If you want to be a swing trader, the best thing you can do is to not look at your charts. Analyze the markets for maybe an hour in the morning, analyze the markets for maybe an hour at night, and then in between that, do not even look at your charts. Enter trades, close your platform, go to work, do whatever you do. Go to the gym, go to work, do whatever you do. But don't watch your charts, because that's going to do nothing for you. Like I was saying, what I think is going to happen on gold is I think it's going to stretch out into a bigger pullback. I think this is an A. I think this is probably an A also. I think we're in a wave B. I think that it might hit the 78% again and then go down for a wave C. And I think this is going to be an expanding ABC of B. And then I think it's going to go up again for the bigger wave C, which will probably go up and take out this high, probably to the 50% on the daily. And then that's going to be the end of a wave 4, I think, on the daily. So this right here, I think, is the bottom of a wave 3. I think we're in an ABC of 4, and I think we're going to go down for a wave 5, probably Friday or maybe Monday next week, maybe, or maybe at the end of this week. Overall, I'm definitely bearish on gold on the higher time phase, but shorter time frames, I think we're in a wave B right now. I think it potentially will go down and grab these lows, and then probably go up and grab these highs, and then probably go down and grab these lows. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Hmm. Sometimes on these live streams you'll see me quiet down because I on my multiple screens I'll be looking at my trades. because I am usually holding at least a couple trades. I'm not a scalper. I'm more of a day trader nowadays, but I try to enter at least a couple trades a day. Probably on average, I enter maybe 8 trades a week or so, maybe a little less or a little more, but probably on average, someplace around 8 trades. I'm currently short the US dollar Swiss and long the Aussie dollar, which both of these trades I did share with my group at the exact time of entry. With my website membership, you get access to my Discord channel. And under here, you can see the trades. This is where all my trades get shared. I also do daily reports at the end of every single day. I get a daily report. This was yesterday's daily report. You can see my Aussie dollar and my Dow Jones trade and my US dollar yen trade. You get weekly reports. This is the end of last week. Last week I made 369 pips, which if you're a gold trader, you're probably thinking that that's not much, but I don't trade gold. I trade pairs that don't move 400 pips in a day. So, that's pretty good, in my opinion. And I also, at the end of every single week, I do a weekly report. I do a monthly report. So you can see my monthly reports. You can see my weekly reports. You can see my daily reports. I'm very, very, very transparent about my trading. Every single part of my trading you can see. And I also, every single Monday, I've been making a video about that 1,000 euros to 10,000 euro challenge that I'm doing for myself right now. I'm trying to turn 1,000 euros into 10,000 euros using the Kelly criteria formula or the Kelly criterion formula. So every Monday I make a video for Instagram and for YouTube about that. And every trade that I take for that, I do share with the group at the exact time of entry. As of right now, I am currently up. If you watch Monday's video, I'm up about 110% in under 2 months. So I've made 110% capital gains in less than 2 months on that account. And my idea was that if I start off with 1,000 euros, and I think that most people can afford, if you're a trader, you can probably afford 1,000 euros or $1,000 or maybe $500 or 500 euros or pounds or whatever it might be. And if you have a good trading strategy, you can use something like the Kelly criteria formula to compound your trading in very, very, very fast. So that's what I'm doing right now. This year, I've been wanting to do this for years actually, but this year I finally decided that I'm going to do it. I'm going to use that Kelly criteria formula, which is actually used by a lot of people in the Market Wizard books. And some of those people in the Market Wizard books made, like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200% capital gains in 1 year using the Kelly, things like the Kelly criteria formula. So it's a very, very powerful system, that's for sure. But you have to have really good trading statistics. If you don't know your trading statistics, then the Kelly criteria formula is going to be useless. I keep a trade journal. Every single trade I take, I journal. Every single trade. And I've done that for probably about the past 10 years or so. I could tell you 8 years ago what my P&L was in March and what trades I took in March and what trades were winners and what trades were losers and things like that. You can learn so much about your trading by keeping a trading journal. I really do not understand why people do not keep trading journals. I've been doing it for 10 years and I think that that has taught me more about myself and about my trading than anything else has. But anyways, does anybody have any requests? Let's see. Silver. Oh, that's a mining company? Must be a stock, right? Mining stock for silver? S I, whoops, SILJ right here. EFT. Wow. Looks a lot like silver, that's for sure. First thing I would do is set my Fibonacci on this last impulsive move up. Oops. So I would do a Fibonacci retracement from here to here. We're not at a Fibonacci level, so most likely this is not a bottom. Most likely it's going to at least go down and hit that 78%. So that's a pretty big clue right there for us. That most likely this move is not over yet. You can't really go down much further than the daily, can you? I bet this is an ABC, but I also bet that there's a 1, 2, 3 in here. I bet we're in a wave four, just like on gold. I bet this is going to go down, hit that 78%. Then it's probably going to continue the uptrend once that's complete. JPY basket. Hey, Spaceburger, how's it going? Yeah, definitely. That JPY basket's definitely a good thing to keep up with if you're trading the yen pairs, that's for sure. So yeah, I think there's a good chance this is going to push down one more time. I can't really go below here because then we just get a bunch of gaps, but it's probably a wave one, wave two. This is probably a wave three. We're probably in a wave four, and we'll probably go down one more time to a wave five, probably down to here, and then potentially turn back up. If this really is an ABC, which it definitely looks like it could be. So that's definitely what I would expect to see there for sure. Let's go back to there and check out the JPY basket. All the yen pairs to me really look like they're getting very close to a big turn. Is this a flat? A wave B of a flat? Boy, I bet it is, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's probably a regular. The 105 is a target for a regular flat. One, two, three, four, five waves down. One, two, three down. One, two, three up. That's to me. This really looks like a 335 pattern. It looks like a regular flat because it went to the 105, which means that it should potentially make another push up for wave C soon. And this could end up making a lower high too, compared to here. It could be a lower high, but it really looks like a regular flat to me, big time. Hmm. The problem is it still hasn't really confirmed much, has it? This is probably your wave four right here. This is probably one, two, three, four, five of five. We really need to see a break of structure, and the break of structure is right here. That break of structure should confirm that the five is over. And if the five is over, that means the whole flat is probably over because that would be a subdivision of the wave five. Yeah, I think I think there's a good chance it's going to go up and take out this high, but until it actually goes up there and does it, it's so hard to really know, isn't it, that if that's really what's going on. What I mean by that is it's so hard to know whether this is actually just an ABC and it just does this and then goes back down again. All the yen pairs to me look like they're trying to find a top on the yen pairs, and the JPY basket looks like it's trying to find a bottom. But until you get like a really solid break of structure, it could just end up being another pullback within a downtrend. If otherwise, we're just basically assuming that it's over without actually having any actual proof that it's over. Which we all know what usually happens when we start assuming things about the market. Definitely, as soon as you start assuming something about the market, that's when the market will smack you in the face. So, yeah, definitely looks like we should be bullish on the yen basket, bearish on the yen pairs. It looks like we should be bullish on the basket and bearish on the yen pairs. Definitely seems like that would be the just because I mean we definitely see five waves here. This really looks like a complete five-wave trend. It's just we don't have the break of wave four to really prove it yet. We got to break of this wave. If that really is the end of a wave five of five, then that potentially could be enough proof to say that the whole trend is over on the higher time frames, right? Because if we're looking at a five-wave downtrend, then normally you would have to see the break of wave four to prove that the trend is over. But if this final wave right here is really a wave five, and then we go down, let's say that this is like, in this case, this is like the daily to 4 hour. If we go down to a time frame where we can see this wave five as its own individual trend, right? So on a shorter time frame, this wave five should also be an individual trend. If we can identify the end of this wave five trend, then that would tell us that eventually it would go up and take out the high of wave four on the higher time frames, right? So if we can identify the end of this trend, which it looks like we already have because it already did break structure, then that should potentially tell us that it should go up and take out the high of wave four, which is all the way up here. So I think we might have enough evidence to say that it's over, but we're still kind of speculating a little bit, aren't we? Definitely speculating a little. So the last several days at like a random time in the New York session, in the late New York session, usually like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, Trump will do something or something will happen with Iran and the market will just take off like a rocket. It's happened several times. It happened Monday, it happened last Thursday, it happened several times. So definitely keep an eye out for that. It could happen again today because there's that today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is usually one of the best days of the week as far as volatility is concerned. We have President Trump is already on the calendar today. Which this is UK time, so this is 11:20 UK time. So tonight he's due to speak at the National Republican Congress Committee. This is at a fundraiser dinner, so he's probably not really necessarily going to be talking about what's going on Iran. He's going to be talking about other things, but I'm sure he's at least going to mention what's going on. And anytime he talks, everybody's listening to see if they can get any clues about what's going on. So it's kind of like when Powell used to talk about, interest rates and stuff. Everybody was trying to find clues about what his plans were in the future. So same type of thing. So right now the market's a little slow, a little overlapping, but boy, keep your eyes open because this thing literally, any of these pairs could literally just take off like a rocket this afternoon out of nowhere. I'm still long the Aussie dollar, and I'm still short the dollar Swiss because it never did, it never proved me wrong, so I stayed in the trade. I'd like to see a better pullback on these indices so I can continue to look for longs on those. I'd like to, I'd like to either see a break of sorts of down on this to look for shorts, or I would like to see a rejection of structure in order to go long again on these. Technically, I'm looking for shorts on most of the yen pairs. CAD yen maybe could be a short, but didn't really make much of a pullback. That Aussie yen looks like it's going up. It's definitely counter trend for me, but maybe it'll go up and grab all these highs and then later on go down. Could be a little bit of a day trade right there. Definitely. Pound yen definitely looking for logs. Euro yen definitely looking for logs. Dollar yen we should be looking for shorts. Gold technically should be longs, but if gold goes up and makes another high and then breaks this structure, that's gonna tell us to start looking for shorts. Dollar Swiss should be looking for shorts. Dollar CAD should be looking for logs. Aussie dollar we should be looking for logs. Pound dollar we should be looking for logs. And the euro dollar we should be looking for logs. Dollar index technically we should be looking for shorts. Like I said, I still think there's a good chance there's a WXY in here. I think this is a W. I think this is an X. I think this is an A. I think this is a B, and I'm hoping it goes down one more time to the 78% for a wave C, and this would be an ABC of Y, and then potentially later on it ends up continuing the uptrend. So that's what I was looking for on that one. Hopefully that's how it plays out. Anyways, I guess that's it. We usually try to keep these live streams to about an hour. If I get requests, I don't mind going a little bit over, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, definitely keep your eyes open this afternoon. You never know what could be said. It could be said at pretty much any time. So, maybe you want to download Financial Juice on your cell phone and turn on the notifications so that way you at least do get alerted. You could even bracket the market with alerts so that way if it takes off and you're not paying attention, you could get an alert for that also. If you're interested, definitely do check out my website. My membership is only $30 a month. It is extremely cheap, and it comes with a lot of benefits, including a trading course, access to members only on Discord, access to all my swing trades, twice a week live streams for only members. So, anyways, I guess that's it for now. As always, thank you for watching. I'll talk to everybody next Wednesday, and as always, thank you and have